I think I'm live. Oh, don't be doing that now, you piece of shit. Don't be doing that now, you piece of shit. Okay, now I think I am officially 100% live, and I really got to change that default screenshot. It's pretty weird. Not very good. Okay. Well, cool. Welcome, everybody. Hello, hello. Luis, hello. Steph, good to see you again. Ronnie, how you doing? Hello, everybody. Welcome to this little live stream here. We'll start with a good old-fashioned traditional bong. This is still some Tropicana cake, which is still one of the most pungent, in the good sense of the word, strains that I've ever encountered. Just ground up, man. This thing makes the whole room smell wonderful. Here we go. Hello, Eric. Mr. Ordaz. Ordaz. Something. Anyways, welcome. Mike, welcome. And Mad Crypto, good to see you here, man. Mr. Colonel. Woo, good start. Let's do another. Weak. Thank you, Mad Crypto. I recently got a somewhat decent piece of glass for the first time in my life. I've been consuming weed for, I don't know, 6, 7 years, something like that now. And I've only ever had, like $40 bongs ever. They're just cheap shit. And I finally went ahead and, got something more substantial. And it hasn't broken yet, so, fingers crossed that I keep this one alive. The Inferno says, yo, long-time fan. Well, welcome, The Inferno. Glad you could join us, man. Thanks for coming in. KD doing numbers, welcome. Says, best way to stop smoking but continue to medicate. I mainly have troubles with appetite and sleeping, also super high tolerance because of the bud, so I plan to drop that. KD doing numbers, I would suggest try going with capsules or tincture. If you don't want to do bud, but you want to do ways that you can sort of control dosage easily, find a very good tincture or a good capsule and go with those. You can very precisely dose exactly how much you want for any occasion. Granted, it is going to make your tolerance go even higher. Any sort of ingestibles will do that. But, if you do tincture for a couple of days and then go back to flower for a day or two or something else, you'll be fine. But if you're trying to do maintain sort of a smoking-like regularity with edibles or anything else, tincture's kind of the way to do it. Eric says he's got himself some Russian cream backwoods with Gorilla Glue. That sounds pretty good. I don't think I've ever had any Russian cream before, but I am a Gorilla Glue fan, whatever that actually means. The Inferno says, how long has it taken you to grow this beautiful beard? Well, I got the majority of it lopped off like a month ago or so. But I've been growing it. I actually shaved for the first time all of my beard, totally shorn, I think in like a year ago, like solidly a year ago. It would take me about, I don't know, not very long to grow this as is. I could do it in a couple of months probably. Jimmy Gags, welcome, by the way, Mr. Gags. What an interesting question. Says, I got a question here in Boston. Well, welcome from Massachusetts. Says, they're facing the vape crisis on tobacco, and it's hurting the THC oil line, so I can't vape. Any ideas? Jimmy Gags, you are kind of in a bad spot, I'm afraid, because you can't really know for sure what you're getting. So Jimmy, they know pretty much that what was making everybody get popcorn lung was this vitamin E acetate, an additive to the cheap black market tinctures. It's like a cutting agent. It's normally totally fine as a foodstuff. It's not harmful at all. But apparently when you aerosolize it at high temperatures, it can wreak some havoc on your lungs. So what's been happening is it's only in the cheap counterfeit carts that are bad, that are killing people, they think. I mean, nobody knows for 100% sure, but that's probably what's happening. And when you're buying cartridges not in a legal state, the thing is, even if you buy a respected brand, like if you get like a Steezy or a Brass Knuckles, Heavy Hitters, Kingpen, whatever the case may be, even if you buy a fancy brand, there's a good chance it's going to be counterfeited, because all of these carts are counterfeited because they don't have copyright protection. So you'll never know for sure and that it's not counterfeit. And if it's counterfeit, it does run the risk of having that additive and could get you sick. So you're in a tough spot being in an illegal state. Well, I thought Massachusetts... Wait, no, Massachusetts is legal, I thought, Jimmy Gags, right? If it is, you should be fine. Buying cartridges at any dispensary, from a respected brand, because they shouldn't be counterfeited, because the dispensary should have bought it from the manufacturer. Again, I don't want to tell you that 100% because nobody knows for 100%, but if you buy it from, because I thought Massachusetts was legal. I guess I could be wrong. I mean, you would know better than me, but if that's the case, if they're legal dispensaries, you should be fine buying from a dispensary at this point. I have gone back, but I'm a crazy man. Henny God, welcome, by the way. Henny God says, honey bourbon is better than a Russian cream. Oh, wait, is Russian cream, were you referring to like a white Russian, like a cocktail? Is that what Russian cream, like a white Russian, like the dude drinks? Because to me, that's the most disgusting thing I could ever possibly concoct in my brain. I don't do well with alcohol. I get sick super quick around alcohol. Just start throwing up pretty much immediately. And milk is the devil's juice. So mixing milk, literally the devil's juice, and alcohol, even if it is something like Kahlua, ugh, I just want to barf just thinking about it. Okay, where are we at? KD Doing Number says, appreciate it. We'll check it out. Papa and Barkley's products sometime soon. Yep, they make great tinctures, KD Doing Numbers. Breeze, I know, makes very large capacity tincture, like 1,000 milligrammers for not a lot of, for relatively affordable. So I would take a look at them as well. I've had some of their other products and they're pretty good. I've never had the 1,000 milligram tincture, but it might be something worth looking at. Leo Bertini, by the way, welcome Leo, or Bertini, I think, maybe, Italian, says mass gang. I don't know what that means, but welcome, and mass gang right back at you. Public Awakening, welcome. Thanks for joining in, man. Glad you could join us. You're my Scottish friend, I believe. Public Awakening, you can let me know. Mike Kemp says, even in legal shops, they sometimes have fakes. It's sketchy. Mike Kemp, that may be true if you're going to a sketchy dispensary. If you think that the person who is selling things is sketchy, they're opening themselves up for all kinds of legal risks at that point. But if you trust the dispensary, and I don't know what that means, still you should be fine. I don't know though. Again, take your own health into your own hands. Leo says Massachusetts is legal. That's what I thought. I'm just now getting caught up on chat, as you can see. Public Awakening is enjoying some rainbow gelato right now. That sounds delicious, man. Glad you're imbibing with us. Henny God says coffee and vodka, I think, is what a Russian... Oh, God damn, that's awful sounding. Whew. I guess just, yeah, any vodka and like or any hard liquor and mixed with a sort of savory drink. Ugh. But, I'm weird. Lemur King, by the way, welcome, says, if you're talking White Russian, did you watch How to Drink's episode? I did not, but maybe he did. Mike Kemp says, there's an article saying they bought counterfeits in Massachusetts from legal shops. Well, that is crazy town. That is really, really alarming. And Mike Kemp, Jimmy, I take back maybe what I said about just going to a dispensary. I don't know how prevalent that is. I haven't seen any of that stuff myself, but if it is, a high or if there's even a low likelihood, still, you don't want to be on a ventilator in the hospital with chemical burns on your lungs. You don't. But, Jesus. There have been 500 people or something afflicted, and there are a lot of people vaping THC. So it's hard to say what to do. And they're drugs. They're always dangerous. But, this is a different kind of dangerous. Thongkasame Taria, that is a very cool name. I'm sorry if I'm butchering it. Let me know how to say it correctly, and I'd be happy to. I'm sorry. I know I totally just embarrassed myself. Says, hey, where do you get your supplies since One Love closed? Well, look, a neighbor of mine, it seems. I still go to the lift a lot. I like the lift. I like One Love a little more, but I like the lift quite a bit. And then I know it's not a lot of people's favorite, but it does have, I think, probably the best prices in Long Beach. I do go to Connected in Belmont Shore more than occasion. They have some much better deals on like edibles and things than other places. Brother Dank says, Jesus Christ means anointed in weed oil. Of course it does. I mean, that's, that's the flesh of the Christ is the oil of the... I have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't know much about Jesus. I grew up in the heart of the Bible Belt. But I don't have a whole lot of religious upbringing. And I don't know my Christian rituals as well as I should. I still think it's weird that if you're a Catholic, you're supposed to like literally drink Jesus's blood and eat his flesh. I don't get that stuff, but to each his own. I do wish that Jesus Christ really did mean anointed in weed oil, though. That'd be lovely. Mike Kemp says, always be careful. That is great advice from Mike Kemp. As I said, don't end up in a ventilator in the hospital, my friend. But, you know, I also don't want to tell you to worry yourself to tears, because I just need to stop talking about cartridges right now, because I'm going nowhere good. And I don't know what to tell people when people ask me about cartridges anymore. My normal advice is, if you go to a legal shop, you should be okay. But even then, you're still taking your health into your own hands. So, you know, be cautious. That might be the last word for now, because I did not know about Massachusetts' counterfeit problem in legal dispensaries. So I need to do some research. Zan Kilo says, and welcome Zan Kilo. Zan Kilo. My brother has a dog named Kilo. I like that name. Says, Weed Maps has fake reviews. Boy, do they. I would say the majority of the reviews on Weed Maps are not well-intentioned. Henny God enjoys his alcohol, but he likes the herb even more, which I gotta say, Henny God, good for you. Good for you. I wish we, as a culture, enjoyed the herb more than the alcohol. We'd all suffer a lot less traffic fatalities. KD Doing Numbers says, I trust my local shop 100%. Chronic Pain Relief Center is probably one of the best, if not the best, in Long Beach. I have actually not been. They're one of the older ones. They're just further away from me. But now I will check them out for sure. Thanks to that endorsement. I will give them a shot. Thanks for the heads up, KD. Mike says, ha 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 ha. I don't know why I read that. And Jimmy says, I just want out here so I can enjoy my buds and oil in peace, like California or Denver. If I had to guess what was going on, Jimmy, in good old Massachusetts there, is that they don't have supply to meet demand. There are not enough farms growing weed to make the supply for all the vape cartridges that they need, and that they're importing cartridges. And because sending stuff through, well, I don't know. No, surely they have laws that everything has to be somewhat local there. I don't know Massachusetts' laws well enough to make any kind of judgments, but it's weird and disconcerting. But I also hope for you, Jimmy, that the whole of New England gets really in on that weed game and becomes the West Coast of the East Coast. That doesn't make a lot of sense. And becomes, an area where you can buy your weed in peace and know that you're not gonna get some kind of third-degree burns on your lungs. Brother Dank says the something God gave Moses has cannabism equals cannabis. I don't know what that is. I know he gave him tablets, right? Because that's the 10 Commandments. Give him those big old stone things. Charlton Heston coming down, because Moses was so white. Moses looked like Charlton Heston, I'm sure. But, Christian's gonna Christian. Willy Wonka says, I've been seeing a lot of black market weed dispensaries trying to sell stuff in Weed Maps. Oh, and the Weed Maps flower reviews. Oh, so trying to market themselves in Weed Maps reviews. I guess they got to find some way to do it now, Willy Wonka, because Weed Maps is no longer, carrying water for them. So they got to get creative. I know after Weed Maps stopped doing illegal dispensaries, I started getting text messages out the wazoo from places like, oh, hey, we're no longer on Weed Maps, but we still exist. Here's our phone number. I would assume that that's got to be devastating to their business model. But if anybody out there owns a black market dispensary, let me know. I would assume, especially if you're a delivery service, you are in panic mode. It seems like you'd have to be. But I don't know. Maybe they have more repeat customers than I think. Callan Known says, I do need to smoke more. You are correct. To the volcano is what I say to that. See, it just... I'm here. It's good to see you guys. I'm gonna graduate from the bong, which it's child's play, to the majesty and grandeur of the volcano bag. Watch as it slowly fills with dense and beautiful vapor. And just hit that fan, pop off that oven, snap in that mouthpiece, and baby, you got a stew going. See you back over there. One of the few good things about the past decade or so is Carl Weathers' resurgence as an entertainer. I missed Carl Weathers. He was so good in Predator. He was so good in Waterboy. And then we had to wait really until Arrested Development to come and pluck him back out of obscurity. And deliver us such lines as, baby, you got yourself a stew going, but now he's back. He's like in The Mandalorian. Carl Weathers. Good for you, man. From poaching food off craft service tables to starring in the biggest TV show of the year. Carl Weathers. Getting your arm blasted off in Predator. I think it was Carl Weathers who got shot in Predator. Got his arm shot off. Do you know the first guy to die in Predator? What's his face? God damn it. What is his name? Shane Black, the actor. Also, Shane Black. He's like the first sort of soldier to die in Predator. He's also the screenwriter. And then he was the screenwriter for things like Lethal Weapon. And then he went on to make what is maybe one of the 5 greatest comedy movies of all time. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang with Robert Downey Jr., Michelle Monaghan, and Val Kilmer as Gay Tony. Amazing. Incredible movie, one of the funniest movies of all time. He wrote and directed that. And then he made the most recent Predator movie. He came back home after growing up. Now he's directing Predator, not just writing it. And it's awful. It really sucks. And it hurts even more because Shane Black should have made an incredible Predator movie. And he made yet another terrible one. You expect so much out of him, He's the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang guy, but He fucked us. Anyways. Wow, I'm so far behind on chat. I really apologize. Where am I at? Daniel says, hello from Queensland, Australia. Well, welcome, man. Thanks so much for joining us from the opposite side of the globe. I hope your continent, I wish it a speedy recovery, although that seems unlikely. But it seems like things are under control, which is good. But my God, how devastating. And I hope everybody you know is okay. You know, those poor koalas. And global warming. Okay. Miss Thong Kasami, I'm sorry I'm saying that incorrectly, says, have I ever tried making edibles? Yes, very recently I've made quite a few edibles. I have both an Ardent Nova, which is a fancy little decarber. You can decarb up to an ounce of weed at a time. You just drop it in the little cylindrical oven, heats it up in about 2 hours, good to go. And then I have a not magical butter maker, but something very similar to it, a different brand, does the same thing. Basically, it's got a little heating chamber and a blender. You stick your weed and your butter in there, some soy lecithin, sunflower lecithin. I don't know how to actually pronounce that. Blend it up, and you got yourself some weed butter. It's easy enough that even I can do it, and I am a total dumbass. Leo, welcome Leo, says new state laws, any THC products sold in Massachusetts must be grown and distributed all in Massachusetts, so no outside imports. And then Callie Known, I think that's right. Am I saying that now right? Callie Known says you can't cross state lines. I sort of pieced that together, I think, as you guys were saying that. That's true for most states, is all the products have to be, come from that state, because you get into all kinds of problems when you start transporting products across state lines, because that's interstate commerce, and that's under the federal jurisdiction, federal law. So that's probably why there is no importing and exporting, if I had to guess. Derby Man says, glad to catch you streaming. Still no recreational dispensaries in Vermont yet either. Get on it, Bernie. Come on, man, Let's get some influence out there. I know you're pro cannabis. Let's get a dispensary in your home state, Bernie. It'll make you even more popular with the kids, Bernie, the kids are going to be even more motivated to vote for you if you get a little dispensary going for them. Brother Dank, welcome, Brother Dank, says, what strain are you on? I am vaping, rather. Tropicana Cake. It's a hybrid of wedding cake and Tropicana something, rather. It is pretty damn good. I think it was advertised at like 19% THC. Seems about right to me. The smell is its best quality. It smells incredible, and it is incredibly pungent. Just opening the bag makes it smell like a weed-scented candle has been lit for a couple of hours in here. Thong Kasame says, Kasimi, damn it, I'm sorry, says you should open a dispensary in the East Village. Boy, would I love to. I would love to, but those licenses are very hard to come by. They're very expensive. I bitched about it a lot in a video. The One Love, our former One Love, we were talking about just that, got one of those coveted dispensary spots, one of like the 10, and then a couple years later promptly turned around and sold it to MedMen for like $3 million for the just like the license. So, yeah, it's not exactly fair. But, you know, what can you do? The government, he's gonna get you. The tax man, Uncle Sam, something. Joe, welcome Joe, says a few days ago a couple shops in town were copying and pasting legit medical licenses from legit shops just to stay on Weed Maps another day. Wow, that is really devious and seems like you're asking for extra levels of legal scrutiny that you don't want. Yeah, why would you? Boy, you're opening yourself up for all kinds of civil and criminal litigation, I would imagine. You know, I guess if you need to make some money quick, that's a way to do it. But fuck, I would not want to be. I would not want to be them after the cops shut them down. Brother Dank says NASA is fake news. I don't quite understand even what that means. NASA is fake news. I think you might be being facetious, Brother Dank, but it's kind of interesting that you bring it up. What at this point does the term fake news mean? Does it just simply, I don't, you know, it's, like, I think you're being facetious, Brother Dank, when you say NASA is fake news. But if not, and I've certainly heard things to that effect, like, how can a whole governing body just be fake news? I don't understand that. But, you know, I'm not a smart man, so who knows? Mike says, I hate MedMen. I think we all hate MedMen. Mike, they're overpriced. Their CEO is a scumbag, and I mean that truly. And, you know, they just corner markets and charge them monopolistic rents and, you know, fuck over consumers. So a hearty fuck you to MedMen. Uncle Ruckus in the house. Ruckus, been a long time, man. Been a long time. Good to see you. Ruckus says, I look like the teacher from Beavis and Butthead. I will take that as a compliment. I can look like anything from any Mike Judge show, and I will be happy. I can look like Milton from Office Space. I can look like Cotton from King of the Hill. I can look like Jared from Silicon Valley. It's all great to me because just being Mike Judge adjacent, you know, is worth any level of physical degradation. Brother Dank says, don't forget the Periscope feed. That's where I found you. Oh, I do forget the Periscope feed. I just signed up for it on a whim. I have never gone to Periscope in my life, actually. I don't really even know what Periscope, I know it is the Twitter-owned streaming platform, but I've never seen a Periscope stream ever. I don't think I've ever seen one. I just know of them. I know they came and destroyed Meerkat. Do you remember the little wonder that was Meerkat? The first actually sort of like mobile instant live streaming platform. Came up, popped up, was huge for like a month, and then Twitter was like, surprise, we're releasing our own called Periscope. And then Meerkat, you know, went from being valued at some insane $1 billion valuation to almost nothing overnight. Feel bad for those guys, but you know, that's just part of the biz. It's just another one of the many dead and buried and long forgotten social networks. like Yik Yak, my beloved, awful. The word is overused, but we'll say it. The cesspool that was Yik Yak, the delightful, racist, disgusting, wonderful place to hang out that was Yik Yak. Uncle Ruckus says, you look good, man. I wasn't clowning. Well, thanks, dude. I appreciate that. Brother Dank says, give Scope a try. I should. I will give it a shot. It seems like decent tech, but, you know, how many live streaming services can survive? You know, which, at the end of the day, are there 5? Are there 3? Are there 10? Are there 20? Are there 2? You know, there's Twitch, there's YouTube, there's Periscope, there is Mixer, there's Facebook Live. I know I'm forgetting another one. They can't all survive. These have a network effect to them. These are, you know, these kind of things just tend to be a winner-take-all kind of system by their very nature. So I assume some of these ain't long for this world. But, you know, I wish the best for all of them. Uncle Ruckus asks, what are we puffing on? Tropicana cake. Quite good, by the way, Uncle Ruckus. Really, really enjoying it. It's a delicious hybrid. Brother Dank informing me that Meerkat's 30-second latency killed itself. Oh, I did not know it had a 30-second delay. That is a long time. That is a very long time in this instantaneous world. You know, even Twitch's like 10-second delay feels interminable to some. Although I think they have FTL now. I don't know, like Mixer. But yeah, 30 seconds is forever in the age of the internet. So I'm not surprised that their shitty tech wasn't eventually eclipsed. Brother Dank also says, remember when tweets were only like 32 characters? I remember when they were 140 characters? 132? How many is it? Was it? Will it be? I don't remember the exact number, but there were 140, right? 132 is the number of characters in an SMS, or am I getting those backwards? I can't remember. I think the 132 characteristics was like based on somebody's study, which is like the majority of simple communications can all be expressed under that number of characteristics, and they chose that because they wanted the smallest number of characters to be able to be sent for bandwidth purposes, right? Uncle Ruckus says, I made my own brownies with Rick Simpson oil and can oils. You've got to try one. They sound good, man. I made some brownies recently with some can oil. I made myself some coconut can oil. They actually tasted vile. I fucked up the recipe. Not my finest hour. I find the cookies, and especially Rice Krispies, are the ones that I have had the best taste to high ratio. They're not so painful, those, but okay, let's see. Uncle Ruckus says, haven't gotten so high since high school. Wow. With your brownies, man. That must have felt quite nice to be back in the good old days of getting high. Brother Dank says you gotta water wash your oil extracts. I'm not even sure what that means, Brother Dank. The water wash. But anyways, I need to move to the volcano to get a refill, so I will see you guys over there. I'm back. You know what? Let's save that for a moment, and let's do the bubbler. Let's do another. This will be fun. We'll really enjoy this. I think we'll have some variety. We can talk about the good old days. We can tell each other the stories of heartbreak and tragedy, of love's lost, love's gained. And boy, I am really, really high, actually. I'm surprising myself with how high I am. So I will see you over there for whatever the hell it is that I said we were going to talk about. Bye. I, of course, didn't get that GIF going where I was going to, make a GIF to make that transition more smooth, but professionalism is not one of the things that I am known for. The Anthony, what is up, sir? Welcome, man. Good to see you. Have you heard anything about that sushi job, by the way? Last time I remember, you informed us at all that you had just gone in for an interview, and then you lied to us and said it was for the sushi master. But, we all forgive you, though, and we are all very curious as to whether or not you got the call back. Uncle Ruckus says, where'd you get the weed? For how much? So, I bought my first ever quarter pound over the holiday break. A dispensary close by was having a massive sale if you bought a quarter pound. I spent more money on weed than I've ever spent at a single time and a single purchase, and so that was a whole ounce of that. I have had a whole ounce of Mendo's breath, and then I've got 2 other strains that I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. And I've been very pleasantly surprised with the quality of both. Okay, Brother Dank is filling us in on the water wash for our oil extracts. He says, you add a cup of water and refrigerate the water so that it separates and it binds to... Oh. I have never heard of that method before, Brother Dank, but I will now certainly investigate it. Anything that can help, lessen that just bitter... biting cannabis oily taste. I'm down. Cool, man. Anthony said he'll know about his job by Monday. So still fingers crossed for you, dude. Our friend here says, I tried to make the tincture, but I'm not sure if it's good or not. I tried it. I think it's only left the CBD, not the THC. Is that normal? It shouldn't be. I think the activation temperatures for CBD and THC are super close to one another, within 10 degrees or something. Maybe a little more than that, but very close. So if the CBD activated, the THC should have as well, unless you are just, at a super weird differential temperature. But there are a lot of factors that can go into it. Chiefly, what was the THC content of the weed beforehand? How do you know even that the CBD came through? Do you know, did it get messed up in the decarb process? Did it not get infused into the whatever you're using as your tincture correctly? I have had problems making tinctures and oils in the past, and have often just found that the longer you kind of infuse the two, the better. I know when making capsules before with MCT oil, I've let them sort of simmer at the appropriate temperature for like a whole day, and that seemed to be the most effective. Oh, just call you Ty. I would love to just call you Ty. Thank you so much. I'm sorry I can't get your whole name correct, but I will call you Ty for sure. Thank you. Uncle Ruckus says, I made brownies with super strong top shelf shake. It literally had all colors of the rainbow, and the high was nuts. That sounds like a hell of a way to do it. Yeah, I hope you got the shake on a good deal. And, you know, a blend is perfect for making edibles. All of this sort of, a lot of this sort of terpene cannabinoid profile kind of evens out when making edibles. So yeah, that sounds awesome. And probably pretty cost effective too. Ty says he thinks, or she, he or she, I don't know your gender, don't mean to presume, says that they messed it up. It is trickier than, it took me a couple of times to get my recipe just right. How are you making it, Ty? What is your process? Are you decarbing in an oven and then infusing like on a stove top or in a instant pot, or are you making alcohol-based tincture, which you don't actually have to have any heat for, or you don't even have to decarb either, I don't think. But maybe you do. Check me on. You might have to look that up. That seems unlikely. It seems like you would have to still. But yeah, you can make alcohol tinctures without needing, you know, any extra heating elements. You just need patience. The longer you wait, the better. I have made an alcohol tincture with an ounce of weed, but I just smell it, and I mean, I still have it in my refrigerator in a dark, cool, well-sealed container, and it should stay quite potent for a while. Alcohol-based tinctures maintain their potency the longest of any, I think, sort of THC-based product. And but man, just smelling it just makes my stomach turn. And the thought of like trying to take that sublingually, just, I can't do it. I can't do it. So maybe one day I'll get brave and try it. But for now, I just have a hell of a lot of tincture in my refrigerator just sitting there waiting for a braver person than I. Uncle Ruckus says we should collab. Sure, man. Let me know what you want to collaborate on. I would love to collaborate making some edibles or whatever with you. That'd be really cool. I'm sure you could teach me a lot more than I could teach you, but it would still be fun. 13 says, just the cold press method. What is the cold press method, 13? And Brother Dank says, you want to activate your tincture with heat, and you can also strengthen the potency by evaporating out some of the booze out, which is what I did. Of course, it gets really kind of a funky consistency the more alcohol you boil out, so I didn't do too much. And I know you can actually boil most of it out and then do different things with that, but it starts to require more equipment than I have and more chemistry than I'm comfortable with. Uncle Ruckus says you should make some edibles with your newfound quantity of weed. They'll turn out strong if it's good weed. That'll be a good video. I should. I've actually considered, and wife has volunteered to help maybe shoot, possibly, video where I just go through my whole process of making things, using all my fancy toys. Me too, Uncle Ruckus. I miss seeing me all edibled out too. But, you know, we'll get there. I have a whole ounce of, one of the remaining ounces is going straight to making edibles, in addition to several ounces of AVB, which I have ready to go, which I can make reasonably strong edibles with just AVB, which is pretty remarkable. Elaine, welcome. Glad you could join us. And thanks for letting me know what Sue means. I saw your comment. That's very generous of you. Probably because you speak French, I'm guessing. Because you're... Or Quebecois? Quebecois? Whatever they call the Quebec version of French. Which, you know, is one of those things that you often forget about, and then when you're reminded of it, you just realize how weird that is. You forget. At least, I mean, I'm sure it's way more present on Canadians' minds than it is on Americans, but every time I'm just reminded, like, oh my God, there's a substantial part of Canada's population that is French, you know, they're native French speakers. You know, the whole, it's just, there's a Canadian province that's like, you know, just, it has a different sort of default language. It's very bizarre. But also not that bizarre. I live in Southern California. There are, you know, many neighborhoods where there's no English, whether it's Spanish or Chinese or Korean or Cambodian. So, you know, it's not that weird to see communities with very different sort of cultures and everything in different signages. But I guess just the idea of an entire province or state or whatever being a different language is it's just a weird thing. And I, you know, I always it's just forget that is true often. So says Ty says, I have the decarb in my cannabis butter maker and switched to tincture with coconut oil and a tablespoon of that word that I wish I knew how to say. If it's lecithin, lecithin, lecithin. It's not lecithin. So there is a decarb setting in your cannabis butter maker, Ty? Is that what you're saying? I wonder if that might be what your problem is decarbing in that. You really want super precise temperature control for decarbing. Like, as accurate as you can get it is really desirable. And if maybe the heating element in there isn't, you know, super precise or whatever, maybe that's what's going on with your stuff. But that is pure speculation on my part. Uncle Ruckus says he's high on the Milfin Cookies 1,000 milligram brownie tonight, and wow, oh, I haven't had a Milfin Cookies in so long, Ruckus. It's probably been like, I haven't had a black market edible in 6 months at least. And well, actually, Milfin Cookies was probably one of the last ones I had. What always blew my mind and made me a little suspicious, though, Ruckus, is how much smaller, I mean, and substantially smaller, the 1,000 milligram brownie is than their 400 milligram slutty brownie, which is like a massive, thick, disgusting chunk of brownie Oreo cookie hybrid. But the 1,000 milligram brownie is a, rather normal sized brownie. And it seems, and it doesn't even taste as bad as the slutty brownie, I don't think. I always found that a little weird. And again, suspicious. And Ruckus, please do email me. I'd love to collaborate. Oh, and Elaine, backing me up with a oui Quebecois. I'm butchering that horribly, but thank you. Raul, welcome, man. Says, oh, hell yeah, caught you live again. That Kiva bar was truly dank. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. I'm glad it worked out well for you. I was pretty sure it would, being Kiva and all. Uncle Ruckus says everyone hates the French, but not everybody hates people from Quebec. A lot of the world speaks French, but aren't French. You can find somebody, isn't there like a native French, or a country with French as its official language on every continent other than Antarctica? French is just geographically one of the most well-dispersed languages. Thanks, colonialism. Thanks, imperialism. Your native populations didn't die in vain, because now they speak French, which is the language of love. So maybe you owe them a thank you. Yay, imperialism. Where are we at? Oh, AI says, what's good, LA in the house, Riverside? Well, do we consider Riverside LA? Is that, I'm sure many people do, but Riverside's Riverside County? I don't know. I'm not originally from Southern California, so I don't have a dog in that fight, but do people say, if you live in Riverside, do you tell somebody who lives in Maine that you live in Los Angeles, or that you live in Riverside? I truly don't know. Ty says the ingredients are 1/2 ounce of Mendo breath, 1.5 cups of coconut oil, and 1 tablespoon of lecithin. That is a pretty good recipe. I have done more weed in slightly less oil with that same amount, but that should be pretty potent still. And a 1/2 ounce of, if it's decent Mendo breath, 14 grams of, let's say it's, whatever, 18%. That's a pretty substantial amount of milligrammage in a 1.5 cups of coconut oil. I wonder again if it's your decarbing process that's having some issues. Ruckus says there are many French-speaking neighborhoods in SoCal. Oh, I actually didn't know that. Where are they, and what are the communities? I assume they're not actually French. I mean, they could be, from any number of places and still be French-speaking communities. But I actually didn't know that. But that's why I love Southern California, is because there are, there's a community or a town for so many different little cultures and places, and it's fucking awesome. I feel really bad for having lived here this long and never having done it. I finally just went and explored Little Tokyo the other last weekend. Yeah, last Friday, and it was incredible. What a charming, awesome little community right there in the heart of downtown Los Angeles. and transportative. Like you feel like you're not in Los Angeles anymore, at least for a couple of blocks. I was there to go to the Walt Disney Concert Hall right up the street to go see my wife got me Jason Isbell tickets, and he went and performed an acoustic set with him and his fiddle-playing wife, Amanda Shires, just the two of them at the Walt Disney Concert Hall, and it was one of the most magical nights of my life. Jason Isbell is now, I think, the artist I've seen the most. I think I've seen him 6 times in concert or at live, not necessarily in concert, at least once at a festival. So, and that was probably my favorite of them all. My first time being in the Walt Disney Concert Hall as well, and what a crazy, beautiful, weird building that is. Sorry for just dropping that story on you. If you guys don't know Jason Isbell, one of the greatest singer-songwriters, I mean, you know, in my opinion, the greatest singer-songwriter, but not just me. I'm not the only person saying that. He's got to be pretty good if he got a spot at the Walt Disney Concert Hall, right? I mean, he is considered country music. I'm sorry, but you know, don't hold that against him, is what I'm saying. Check him out, Jason Isbell, Isbell. Amazing. Okay. AIFG says, got my Rove, the beloved Rove cartridge. I haven't had a Rove in a while, but they are good. They are very good. Or they used to be. I should do a follow-up Rove review in the future. Raul dropping good ideas and says, ever think of a California edible tier list? Just an idea. Yes, and I have actually even written several scripts to that effect. It would just be, it's products are very geographically slow, locked in some senses, like some brands aren't in some places. It was, I had a script done, and then they announced, this was years ago, this was before California had the edible 100 milligram cap. I had several actual lists, best edibles, best value edibles, this, that, and the other. But all of that kind of doesn't matter as much anymore, which is sad to me because there are so many. I mean, the edible market in California is very narrow, not in the terms of product, and not in the types of products there are. There's still a lot of different ways of consuming weed, that they've managed to infuse weed in any number of edible configurations. That's not so much what I mean. It's just that the price and potency on most edibles, outside of outliers, which most of the outliers are only going down, not up. You don't really find ones that are so much better than the others because, again, there's a 100 milligram cap. Nobody's going to break that for a multitude of reasons. One, it's against the law. You're, only supposed it's tested at 100 milligrams. And two, why would you spend more money and not let people know? I mean, making edibles more potent costs more. So most edibles, again, there's a upper limit to how good they can be. The only surprises, again, are bad surprises. And they all cost right about the same amount of money. They're pretty much every edible it was within $10 of each other in cost. So really, when it comes to edibles, and it's sad, I wish it were different. I wish it were the golden glory days, but I mean, at this point, it's really just like, I almost say, you're safe buying whatever. Just buy whatever sounds best to you when it comes to edibles at this point. I'll keep an eye out for things that, I'll keep making reviews and, yada, 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 that kind of stuff, because I'll keep consuming edibles and might as well make some reviews of them. But it's just, there's not a lot of diversity there. It's hard to rank one above the other. A plus gummy is about as good as pretty much the same as a Kiva gummy. I wish it weren't the case, but that was a long-winded answer to your great non-question suggestion, Raul. AIFG says, got a stupid cartridge. Never had one of those before. Let me know how that is. Ty is giving me a phonetic pronunciation of lecthin. Lecithin. I just need to go to Webster Merriam's dictionary.com. Howdoyoupronounce.com. AIFG says, stupid is the name of the cartridge. It's in a red box mimosa hybrid. Ooh. And your boss got it for you? That's a very kind boss. I'd continue to work for them. Ruckus is French. Oh, I did not know that, Ruckus. That is very cool. Are you French? Like, are you like, from, why am I stumbling over asking, are you from France? Are you a French immigrant? Or were you born somewhere else? Or are your parents French? I don't know. I'm high. I gotta go back to the volcano. So I'm gonna do that, and I will see you guys in just a second. I'm gonna transition over there. I'm gonna... Well, no, first I'm gonna speed round through chat and get all caught up. Watch this. Here we go. 13 says, LOL, dude, set it up. Where can we make donations to your channel? 13, no donations required. Thank you so much for offering. That's very kind. That's very generous of you. Please, you do not need to donate. Donate your money to Australia. Give it to our Australian brothers. They need it more than I do. This feels gross to say. Back in August, YouTube demonetized me. They stripped my YouTube partnership and took my ability away to make ads or to have ads or like get chat donations or whatever because of, they said, offensive content. Just making the same stuff I've always made. And then I was like, wow, that really fucking sucks. Humble brag. I've never put any ads on anything. I'm not looking for your money. But it still just felt like, wow, that feels like a dick thing to do. YouTube, why? But sort of very coolly and surprisingly, they just reinstated me like on Monday, out of the blue. So, yeah, that was a coincidence. Boy, I said I was going to catch up with chat real quick, and I made a real detour there. AIFG sounds like he's writing song lyrics. Uncle Ruckus says, how do I email you? wheatsreviews@gmail.com, Ruckus. Just wheatsreviews@gmail. I do have wheats@wheatsreviews.com, but people say that sometimes things bounce back. I don't know. So just go with the Gmail. John says, why do I see two streams with two different chats? Because YouTube, for whatever reason, now splits YouTube into Stream Now and YouTube Events. And I use a service called Restream, which lets me stream on YouTube and Twitch and also Periscope now at the same time. But it, for whatever reason, splits the YouTube one into the Stream Now and Events. I don't know. I'm sure I could fix it, but I have not because I have no excuse. Ty says, you think if you are open or if you open a little store for all the kinds of cookies, would that be successful? I don't know. I don't think so, Ty. I mean, especially if you're trying to go for a licensed model, do it legitimately. You basically have to go for whatever the highest profit margin items are, which are almost certainly going to be cartridges. And you got to sell as much shit as you can. It would be awesome to have stores that are dedicated exclusively to like handcrafted edibles, but we're not there yet. Hopefully one day though. But I just think with the model right now, and especially with the way the licenses work, you just got to kind of fire hose the model and sell whatever you can to whomever you can. But again, I hope the weed world in California, and it is, I mean, there's some places like Hollywood now has like the cafes that you can smoke at. I hope, it continues this definition to get more expansive and more business types can open with weed and be more experimental with, ways to deliver weed or ways to consume weed, all that fun stuff. I assume it's all coming in time. Carissa says, I've started making my own edibles and they've been treating me pretty good. I've even put some can of butter in my mashed potatoes today. Now that sounds like an amazing idea. How were those mashed potatoes with weed or with can of butter, Carissa? For my last batch of cookies, I have probably a fifth of a stick of butter, maybe a little less than that, left over, and I've not been sure what to do with it. And that sounds like a really intriguing way of doing it, but I'm curious how it came out for you. And what's your method, Carissa? Do you do it all by hand? Do you decarb in the oven and then like actually infuse butter in like a crock pot, all that fun stuff? Or do you have any fancy toys? Which is how I do it with, I cheat. I've got toys. F. Hernandez, welcome, my dog. Glad you could join us, man. How are you doing on this Friday evening? Hope you've got a whole weekend ahead of you to get high. Oh, I've got to switch to the Volcano cam because I am now caught up on chat. See you over there. Avita Zane. We've let it go fallow. We got to get it heated back up to 425 degrees, which is just 50 degrees away. And this thing, it heats up quick. Although I heard that the brand new Volcano, which is the one that you can actually basically like hook almost like a hookah pipe contraption directly up to and just like vape right off the oven, I guess. It apparently heats up, I think they say like 10 times quicker than this model, which is, if true, an insane increase in efficiency. Excuse me. My manners go out the window when I get high. But that's ridiculous because that assumes that I ever had manners to begin with, which I don't. I'm a very ill-mannered person. My parents never sent me to coterie. What's the fancy school that you go to learn like dumb etiquette for fancy people? Usually like Southern. What's that called? It's like a school thing, not like school, but like an after school activity that you do so that you then know how to like arrange your forks or whatever the fuck, or like, you know, what offensive, dumb, antiquated, misogynistic thing to call women that for whatever reason is supposed to be well-mannered. My parents never let me do that, so I am a boorish hick. Ill-mannered. Not ill-mannered. Yes, ill-mannered. Poorly mannered. I do not know etiquette. Don't have my P's and Q's. Oh wait, I'm just standing here unnecessarily. I was going to make a fresh bowl, which I think I will do. But I have to go over here to grab stuff. Excuse me. Toothpicks. There we go. Now, I could just be lazy and put in a fresh piece of aluminum foil, which I've got in there, but we're going to save the environment, and I'm just going to reuse this one. This is for the koalas. I have no idea what the environmental impact of aluminum foil is. I would assume, well, foil is very insubstantial as a product by its very nature. But mining aluminum, probably pretty bad for the planet, I would imagine. So, don't call me a hero. But if you want to, that's okay. Where's my grinder? There it is. Let's open it up and see the goodies on the inside. Ooh, it's well packed. I was about to say, take a look at this, and I was going to sort of turn it right side up, and that would have been really sad for everyone involved. Except for maybe live stream fails tomorrow. But, crisis averted. All right, I did it. Now I'll see you guys on the other side. Toodaloo. I'm back. I hope nobody was too bored in my absence. Matt Bone 408 says, cheers everyone. Cheers to you, Matt Bone, and welcome. I like your all caps name. I feel like I want to yell Matt Bone often and loudly. It's fun to say, Matt Bone, and you just want to say it in that sort of authoritative way like that. Great name, Matt Bone. You should be proud. Carissa says, to be honest, aside from the smell, there's no difference in flavor. I decarb in the oven and I infuse the butter using a double boiler method. Good for you, Carissa. Good for you. That is the, the classic way of doing it. the authentic way of doing it. You know, you get your hands dirty. You really get to know your crops by digging your hands in the soil, and you have a better relationship with your. I don't know what I'm talking about. But good for you. I wish I were that talented and could do all that stuff. I just use something where you can press a button and it does it for you. And I'm lazy, so it all works out. But how is this smell decarbing in the oven, Carissa? I've been tempted to do it before, just for like as an experiment to test how much better do half of an ounce decarbed in my little decarb device and the other half in the oven, and just compare to see if there is a appreciable difference. But I've heard that it really does smell quite it's quite pungent to do it that way, and the smell is sort of spreads far and wide. There's really no reason that I would worry about that. I mean, I do live in a condo. There's no policy or anything, and I don't think anybody would complain, but I just would prefer not to do it that way. But if in fact it does smell terrible, but you can let me know. Okay. Ty says, Sante to your healthiness in my culture. It's a good thing. Well, thanks, man. Right back at you. Thank you. What is your culture? Are you, oh God, and please, Ty, if I am way off base here, let me know, and shame on me. Are you Cambodian by chance, living in Long Beach? And if so, very cool. Carissa says, I just put butter in at the end like you would with regular mashed potatoes. I've been trying to figure out how to make tea because I got a tea bag from a dispensary and I loved it. Yeah, you just need to get I think you can do it. Well, I've seen a couple of different methods for how to make weed tea. None too complicated. But I would guess that the hard thing, though, Carissa, with making weed tea is not necessarily the infusion process, getting the THC into your tea, but making it taste good. That would be your challenge. And I could see why that, or how that could be quite difficult. But I know they're pretty popular. The low dose THC teas are pretty popular with people. They're not for me because they're just too low dose. Also, I don't like hot beverages. Weirdo that way. But yeah, I'm boy, I just total brain shart, not fart, just brain shat. My brain just can't even remember what I was talking about. Oh, weed, and I was talking about weed. Of course I was. No, we were talking about tea and that they are popular, but they're too low dose for me, and I don't like hot beverages because I'm a weirdo. Ty says that they are Thai. Very cool. Does Long Beach have a big Thai community, Thai? I don't know anything about the local Thai population here. David Elder, welcome by the way, says G-Love and Special Sauce, cold beverage, ever heard? No, I have not heard of them. I haven't done a lot of new beverages recently. Most of the beverage market goes more towards the low dose edible side. You see a lot of 10 milligram like sodas and teas and lemonades and things. These sort of higher dose ones, I mean, they still exist. I think quench or like is still even exists, but the market seems to be expanding more in the low dose beverage side. Oh, it's a song. God damn. I'm sorry, David. It's a song about how he loves cold beverage. Oh. Wait. G-Love and Special Sauce. That's the name. Oh, G-Love and Special Sauce is the name of the artist. The name of the song is Cold Beverage. And it's a song about G-Love and Special Sauce enjoying a cold beverage. That is an interesting hook for a song. I mean, I guess it's a lot like a lot of country songs, which are about how you want nothing more than to drink another beer and to, have your lab sit next to you in your pickup truck. Those are pretty common country music tropes. G-Love and Special Sauce. What a band name. In college, I would often go see this band from Memphis. Not a popular band. They played at little small local venues. But they put on a hell of a show. They were named Lord T and Eloise, the Aristocrunk Revolution. They had a whole backstory, that kind of artist. They dressed up as a sort of like 18th century powdered wig British aristocrat, with all the sort of frilly shirts and pompous makeup and ridiculous attire to go along with it. And the other one dressed up entirely in gold and then had himself painted entirely in gold. And I think he was a robot. And it was the Aristocrunk Revolution. And they both sang some both white, except for the fact that one of them was gold. And they sang hip hop. And they were very interesting. Lord T and Eloise. I wonder if they still make music. Oh, there was I went to a football school, a school that went fucking crazy for football. Tennessee, the Volunteers. And there was a guy who fashioned himself a football player, who fashioned himself a DJ, also a white boy. And so he would, because he was a football player and they would let him do whatever he wanted, they would let him go play like clubs and things, DJ clubs. And he once DJ'd a set, was the DJ for Lord T and Eloise. And he was my favorite DJ I've ever heard in my entire life. This is his exact, I'm not fucking with you. Here's how he went. Oh yeah, guys. Hey, where my bitches at? All the hoes. Hey, hey, put your hands up, hoes. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This is, shit. Oh, yeah. We're gonna get this shit popping now. Let me see some titties. Oh, yeah. It went on like that for like an hour. But I take it back. It's not a good impression because I was too enthusiastic. I was a little too into it to be, I can't remember what his DJ name was now. I went to high school with a boy. Well, maybe I shouldn't say this. No, I'm not gonna say what I'm gonna say because that would, if somebody wanted to, they could absolutely then figure out, piece together some information. But yes, that was the story of Lord T and Eloise in the Aristocrunk Revolution. Oh yeah. Where are we? Okay. David says, yes, those Kiriko teas don't get me high. Me neither, but I don't fault them. They're just, 10 milligrams, 5 milligrams. But I know people who do really enjoy them. David says the song is a joke. Well, let me try to pull it up here. Let's see. Cold beverage. Oh, G-Love and special sauce. He looks like a doo-wop singer. He looks like looks way out of... Oh, it's 10 years old. All right, I'm going to do it. Oh, yeah. Oh, there's an... I'm just now monitoring my own, audio output. I didn't know I had such a terrible crinkle going on always. Oh, wait. Guys, I'm sorry, there's going to be some noise here, but that's okay. Oh, yeah. This is a shout out to, all my bitches, G-Love, and, special sauce. Let's get it on. Oh, I should let you know, David, I can't understand lyrics unless I am reading them. I have no idea what that guy was saying. I couldn't decipher a single word. Not on him, that's on me. So I'll have to look at some liner notes, but G-Love and Special Sauce, they've got a good name. Okay, where are we at? We are... Andrew, no, I am still... I'm not even caught up yet, guys. I'm sorry. Carissa says, I put foil on top of the container and it keeps the smell down. I live in an apartment and have had no complaints, so it seems like the oven model. Totally fine as long as you try to contain it. Maybe I'll still have to do it. Thank you for letting me know, Carissa. Ty says, next time when I make some edibles, if it's okay with you, do you want to taste it? Sure, I would love to try a sample, Ty. I would even give you some of my own edibles in return. I'd love to. Andrew Silva, welcome Andrew, says, do you smoke steezies? No, but I vape them. Sorry, that was... I apologize. Yes, I do. They're good. They're not the... They're probably my least favorite pod-based weed system. I would put plug and play, then packs. I haven't done the dart, but I've heard really good things about it. But I would put Steezy probably at the bottom of all of those, both in terms of the system, just, I don't like it as much as the others, and in terms of quality as well, but it is still very good. I know some people talk shit about Steezy now. I still enjoy them quite a bit, and they're way more affordable than the other pod-based systems, but I would put them at that bottom of the list there, although I do still like Steezy. Jose Sandoval says, what up, dude? What up yourself, Jose? Welcome, man. I'm glad you could join in with us. It has been a long time, Andrew. I've been doing quite a few live streams recently, and I'm going to be continuing to do quite a bit more of them. And I really do mean to be much better about letting people know, and also actually planning things and doing things while streaming instead of just rambling in front of a camera for this long. Topics, maybe playing some things, trying to reach out to some folks, those kind of things. But I'll be in touch. But until I get that schedule pinned down, I'll be streaming, a couple times a week at least, for sure, if not more. And I am not sure when new reviews will be out. It depends whether or not I decide to release old stuff, old vape reviews that I haven't decided what to do about yet. But as for new stuff, it'll be a little bit, but I'll be back on that. Hopefully I'll have some. I got to build up the vault again, and we'll get back on it at some point. Okay. Jose says, "Do you listen to Afro Man?" No, I don't, but I know people who love him, and bless him, dude's been around a long ass time. Afro Man, is he still making music, Mr. Afro Man? I hope so. Good for him. If so, it's quite the career. Andrew Silva says he is the president of the Afro Man fan club. That's quite the honor, Andrew Silva. I'm sure I'm sure it's a lively bunch, the Afro Man fan club. Is Afro Man because I got high? Is that? I mean, I know I now have to look this up. Oh shit! I didn't mean to go into full screen mode. Afro Man. Oh, it is because I got high. Oh, man, that song, I think, came out when I was like a junior in high school, right? How old is Because I Got High? I feel like it's from like 2000. Okay, I'm going to guess Afro Man is from 2000. Afro Man's Because I Got High is from 2003. I'm going to guess. Or that's when it was, on top 40 radio or whatever. 2000! Shit. Fuck. Damn, I was way off. Oh, wait, it was released in 2001. Okay, so, it was recorded in 2000. I don't know when it was, like, number one on the tracks. So 2001, 2003. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. It's not my X-Men power, which is, I can do it and I won't touch the keyboard. If you guys give me a movie that came out between the years, say 2000 and now, and grossed, around $50 million and up at the box office, I can tell you what year it came out. Just try me. Just try me. I'll have my hands up the entire time. Wow, there's a lively discussion about Afro Man, surprisingly. Good for Afro Man. His Wikipedia article is incredibly anemic, by the way. It's like 3 paragraphs. There ain't not a lot of... He doesn't look like he's been updated on a while, Afro Man. I hope he's doing okay. Arturacabra, welcome, is on Twitch. Glad you could join us. Thanks for joining in, man. Jose says, Dope Fiend is a classic, so is Hungry Hustler. My Afro Man knowledge is way less than I thought. I did not know that was like the... Wait, no, that's just Because I Got High. That's the Wikipedia page for that, not Afro Man. I am sorry. That is probably really bad of me. Sorry, Afro Man. I'm talking so much shit about him. Where am I? Ryder Townsend. Welcome, Ryder Townsend. That name sounds like it's not real. It says, yo, you prefer PAX era or PAX 3 for daily? Probably the PAX era because he can use it for longer. You can sort of have more on you in a more discreet fashion. I love all the packs. I love their old herbalized, herbal vaporizers, flower vaporizers. But the Era is a great little system, and I really like the pods for it. So I'm going to go PAX Era, but that's not talking shit about PAX 3 at all. Sinister Games, what's up? Welcome. Good to see you, man. And boy, still so much talk about Afro Man, which again, really good for Afro Man. I'm really happy for him. I would look up his Wikipedia, but I am now at the point where I'm just too ashamed. And we'll just leave it at that. I'm not good enough for Afro Man. But I will listen to Because I Got High later, because I don't think I've heard that song outside of the, chorus or whatever I don't know if you would say that song has a chorus. The Because I Got High, Because I Got High, Because I Got High. Other than that part, I don't think I've heard the whole song since I was in high school. So I will listen to it in his honor and for all of you guys really out there standing for good old Afro Man. I didn't know we'd be talking so much about him this chat. I have a lot of research to do after this video. Got to research what's going on in Massachusetts with counterfeit cartridges. I got to research Afro Man, and I've also got to give you guys my email address one more time in case you ever want to meet up and send me an email, and we can meet up somewhere and smoke a fatty in person. I don't know if people use the term fatty anymore or not. But all of that was preamble to say my wife just entered the door. She is bringing home food because she's wonderful, and I'm going to go enjoy it. It has been delightful hanging out with you, enjoying cannabis, talking about the good old days, reminiscing. And we'll be sure to do it again very soon. You are all wonderful people. Again, it's been great. I will try to give people more notice, and I will see you guys all in the next stream. Avita Zane. Goodbye.